5 months ago, I signed up for a half marathon with zero running experience. This week, I'm going to go over the 9 things I wish I would have known before I started running. Because honestly, if I had, I probably wouldn't have waited so long. In May, I decided to sign up for my very first ever half marathon. Now, I've been a competitive swimmer, I've done CrossFit, I've done yoga, I've done the whole regular gym thing, but I've never actually took running seriously. Even at the peak of my elite swimming career, I still hated running. But back in May, I was going to the gym a little bit more seriously after a few months, and I decided I needed a goal. So I signed up for a half marathon. I mean, that seems to be what everybody else is doing. And since May, I have run 221 kilometers, and my longest run to date is 16K. So one of the most basic things on my list of things that I wish I knew before I started running has to be let the focus and all your money be spent on shoes. Basically, if you don't have good shoes that fit your foot, it's gonna suck. It's not gonna be fun, and it might make running a little bit more painful. So I didn't do what's mostly recommended to do, which is basically go to a running store that has all the brands and go get them to do a diagnosis for you and figure out exactly what brand and what shoe is best for you. I didn't do that. Honestly, I think it's something I'm going to consider next year. However, my wife has done it and she's very happy, so I know it works. But what did I do? I kind of did the half version of that. I went to Hoka because I know I really like their shoes. Long story short, used them before to try running, and I knew that it worked. So I did their little diagnosis on their computer and I got the Bondi 8s. Never been happier. Love a bit of cush, so I'm very happy. All right, that brings me into point number 2, which is all about gear. Now, you have the shoes, that's great. Everything else, honestly, very secondary. What did I purchase though? I'm going to be completely transparent about this because I do not believe that you need all of the crazy, sexy, awesome gear in order to actually start running. However, I must say there's certain things that help. I wanted something to be able to carry a few things while I was running. It was only after about 2 or 3 months that I actually invested in a belt that will carry a water bottle and a few other things. Now, did I try on the $100 vests? That's the question, because everybody else that's running seems to have a vest. And honestly, even though I was 2 to 3 months in, I still couldn't see myself investing €100 into a vest that I wasn't even sure if I enjoyed running in. And of course, then you have the additives. I did happen to buy 2 new pairs of shorts from Sweaty Betty just because I needed new gym clothes anyways. So I bought 2 pairs of shorts that I knew I would enjoy running in. Honestly, ended up wearing them during vacation, so double win. And then the final thing that I did purchase during the last 5 months of training has been a pair of sunglasses. Now, if you know me, you know I barely ever wear sunglasses because I don't have any. So I actually ended up buying a pair that doubled as sunglasses in the summer while I was driving or while I was just exploring around. I did not go and buy the $300 Oakleys. I did, however, buy these ones called Blizz that my best friend recommended because they're sports glasses. So they will weather any running or biking that I do. So yeah, all of that to say basically, I know you don't need any of the sexy gear. However, there is a part that makes it kind of fun when I put my sunglasses on and go for a run. But the jacket that I'm wearing right now, I've had it for years. You don't need to go out and buy all new stuff. However, not a bad idea for little rewards if you keep up your training. The third thing on the list is going to have to be electrolytes and hydrating properly. Now, I'm somebody that actually has a really easy time drinking a lot of water, but I'm also somebody that sweats a lot. So after a little bit of research, I realized that it wouldn't be a bad idea to start inserting some extra electrolytes into my training. So on the shorter runs where I don't really bring a belt or anything like that, I make sure I have some electrolytes after. And during my long runs, I fill up my water bottle with some electrolytes. Now, my favorite part has been testing them out, but I must say I've come to the conclusion that I really like Precision. So I've been going with that. They have one for extra sweaty people, such as myself. So that's what I've been using, and I must say that testing these out are important because you're not going to love every single one and how it tastes. For instance, I had my wife try it, and she hated it. All right, so when it comes to fueling, I have tested out probably about, I think, 4 different brands. 2 from Decathlon, and then I tried the Martin, which is like super popular with a bunch of the triathletes. And then I tested out this one that I actually use currently, which is also Precision. So it's actually the same brand. It's Precision Fuel, 30 grams of carbs, 100 milligrams of caffeine. So this one I actually tested out recently, and I really like it because I like the texture and I like the taste. I've been very fortunate, knock on all the wood everywhere, that I actually haven't had any like really crazy stomach reactions when it comes to these. I've heard stories about people. That just doesn't happen to be me. So I thought I'd try the one that matched the hydration that I also like. Works out, very happy about it. But yeah, I have to say that yes, it is fun to try these things out. And of course, if you're practicing with them, that can be a cost. But I must say, I think this has saved my long runs. I don't use them during the week, during my tempo or my interval or my easy run, but I do use them every Sunday on my long runs. Like today. Today is Sunday, I'm going on a long run, so I'm bringing a gel to take halfway through my 9K run today. I took 2 during my 16K, and yeah, I'm just practicing with that. I just know then I'll be all the more comfortable on race day. I'd have to say I really think this is helping me. I think between the hydration and the fueling, it's helping make those long runs more sustainable and more fun. And that's how I'm getting better at running, by doing these long runs and also everything in between. And before we get on to number 5, I'm gonna go get a coffee. Also, if you haven't been to Cafe Artisano, is it Artisano? Yeah. All right, so number 5 is all things warm up and stretching. Now, this is not something that I have completely mastered yet, but I am getting better. Honestly, it's because I'm putting in the effort, and also I realize that when I do these 2 things, my body hurts less in general. So when it comes to warming up, I definitely do use Run-A basically for all of the warm-up stretches for any of my runs. If you haven't seen my review on the Run-A app, you can feel free to click on the card above or see the link in the description and you can go see it. I give it a whole review on what the app is like for beginners like myself. I have to share the number 1 benefit though to me actually doing these warm-up stretches is that I feel like it takes less time for me to get into my run and feeling good in my run. There have been times where I've started cold turkey and it's not until like 2 or 3 kilometers in when I'm actually starting to feel good. Now, as somebody that's not doing crazy high kilometer range, sometimes that 2 or 3 kilometers is like half of my workout. So it's important to do the warm up regardless of the distance that I'm going. Now, stretching. Something I need to definitely do better at because honestly, sometimes at the end of a long run, I'm just exhausted and I don't want to stretch. However, of course, the recovery is faster. It's just factual. I hurt the next day if I don't stretch, and I only hurt a baby bit if I do stretch. So like the facts are there. Also, I do a bit of icing for my tendonitis. This is only after my long runs. If I've ran more than 7 or 8 kilometers, I will make sure I ice my foot 2 to 3 times over the next 24 hours just to make sure that there's no extra inflammation. But that's specific to me. Warm up and stretching, like I said, extremely important for the success of my runs and my recovery. So long story short, make sure that if you're getting into running, get the warm up and the stretching in early in your routine so that doesn't cause any injury. Prioritize running places that are like fun and exciting to run. It just makes for a better experience. It makes another layer of kind of gamifying running. And for me, that looks like running along the Seine or running through the city or a place that I haven't been to in a while. So for instance, right now, I have run to the Seine. Now, it's a little far from my house and I did take a bus to get here. Sometimes I run here, sometimes I don't. Yeah, I'm basically here because I want to enjoy this part of the city. And I must say that especially on vacation, that's what kept me motivated, was running around the lakes in Italy, running through the olive groves. Definitely, if I could go back and tell myself, I would say, listen, from the get-go, prioritize the views and places that you want to go to. I mean, for some people that looks like a forest or looks like running around their lake, but for me, it's running through the city or along the Seine. All right, so the next thing on my list has to do with pacing. Now listen, I'm not saying pacing is not important. I'm just saying that in the beginning, it is so irrelevant. The most important thing is to just get up and run. And if you're just starting out, that means running easy and trying to just feel what that natural pace is. Now, can pace become important? Of course it is, because then you can control how much effort you're giving, have better control of maybe how long you end up running your half marathon goal. I must say the last month or 2 leading up to my half marathon, I've been paying just a baby bit more attention to it, only because I am curious to see how long this whole thing is going to take me. However, during my easy runs during the week, pace is so irrelevant. I don't even look at anything. Do I track it? Yes, but I do not pay attention to it. It's really just easy. Sometimes I'm way faster than I would be in a tempo run, and sometimes I am way slower than I've ever ran in the last few months. But the important thing is just don't take pace seriously. Just go and run. I don't know, there might be some people that think otherwise, but by running slow, I've been able to run further and thus do more kilometers and feel more proud of myself. That's just how I feel. Now, let me know in the comments what you think about pacing. I'd be super curious. I'm gonna cut straight into number 8 of the things that I wish I knew, and that has to do that there are different types of running. Now, I had no idea about the world of running. I was a competitive swimmer, so I had an understanding of what pace was and tempo and interval, but I had no idea that also carried over to the world of running. It's very obvious. I'm not trying to play dumb here. It's just, I didn't think that by training for a half marathon, I would have the opportunity to do things like tempo runs and interval and really easy runs from A to Z. I'm used to doing a cool down, but not an actual easy run from A to Z. And then of course the long runs to get your kilometers up. So I would say the thing I wish I knew is that there was a lot more variety basically than I expected in the types of runs that I can do. During the weeks of my training, I've been usually doing about 3 or 4 runs a week. Sometimes it's been 5, sometimes it's been 2 or 3. However, I've been staying pretty steady around the 3 or 4 mark. I always do a Sunday long run, no doubt. I always do an easy run, and then the tempo and interval kind of vary. And that's kept me entertained. I must say the variety has been super entertaining. So that is obviously me following the training plan with Runna or previously with the Nike app. Changing it up has been super helpful to keep me interested and excited and motivated. And I think it's been really helpful for my progress by not just doing one type of run throughout all my training. All right, so the last thing on this list of things that I wish I had known before I started running is the importance of setting a goal and having a plan. Now, does that mean that everybody should go sign up for a half marathon? Absolutely not. I am somebody that is very hard-headed, and instead of just signing up for a 5K or a 10K, I went straight to the half marathon, but I knew I could do it, and I knew that was within myself. That's not what everybody does. Some people sign up for a full marathon their first time, so it's just a matter of deciding what is the best race for you. I have seen the importance of this because I really do not think I would be running as much or have stuck with it if I wouldn't have had signed up for a half marathon in October, which is next week. And because I'm loving the training, and I realized that I've become one of those people that's the joy is in the training, but I'm serious, I truly enjoy it. So because of that, about a month ago, I actually signed up for my second half marathon, which seems crazy. It's gonna be in March, but I know that's gonna get me through the winter and keep this training going and keep improving. Obviously, coming up with a training plan, that's completely up to you and your preferences, whatever app you wanna use. I use Runna, very happy with it so far. However, you gotta do what's right for you. Anyways, those are the 9 things that I wish I would have known before I started running. However, those are the things that got me motivated and excited to do my half marathon, which is in exactly 1 week. And today I'm out on the Seine to run my last long run before the race, which seems crazy. So anyways, I'll see you next week.